folks, Tim with ABC Acres here in Hamilton, Montana. Today is Wednesday, August 29th, 2018, and we're coming to you from a central portion of our farm known as Bee Haven. Why do we call it Bee Haven? Well, simply put, it's where we house our beehives, or I should say the majority of our beehives, but at the same time, it's where we've taken a level of observation to understand the health of the bees season to season in a cold temperate climate, and how do we design a microclimate, design a habitat for them that, much like our livestock and the tree belt systems that we discussed a month ago in the tree belt food forest design, we look to nature to utilize design to create a level of comfort for our livestock throughout the season, whether it's the heat of summer or the cold of winter. And if you look behind me, you'll see that that earthwork, which is actually a large hugel swale on the south side of a relatively oval earthwork project that houses our bees to create a level of protection throughout all seasons. We're going to go ahead and jump into the middle of that. We're going to talk about observations, why we designed it the way we did, and why it works for ABC Acres and our honeybee livestock. Well, here I sit inside the earthworks of our Bee Haven. It was one of our longer standing beehives, probably had this for about 4 years now. And what we're doing here is we're creating a level of design for their comfort. So we are just on the other side of that large berm that you saw in the previous shot. I'm sitting on the northern side berm, which encapsulates the entire design. This cell, if you will, this rounded horseshoe cell, is built after the design concept of an earth ship. If you're familiar with earth ship design, residential, commercial structures, east-west access, with these cells open up to the southern skies to harness the warmth of the winter sun, if you should say. And so that's what we incorporated here for many reasons. Let's go through that step by step and show you how this design works for us. Much like the tree belts for the comfort of the livestock from the winter winds and reducing their fuel needs, the same design applies here. We have a northern berm at about 3.5 feet with large tires creating these cells. You can't see it in the camera, but there are 3 cells here in conjunction, side by side. During the winter months, the hives are reduced in size to maintain the optimum space for the colony size. And the north winds that come from behind me shoot up and over the Langstroth hives, thereby offering a level of protection or heat loss through that wind whisking through the hive. We've also created a number of shade plantings on that northern berm to accentuate the buffering of those wind issues. Let's transition a little bit. No, let's stay on this topic. The tires with rammed earth inside act as a thermal mass. So as you can imagine, the winter sun moving from east to south to west, that sun is radiating into the tires. So at night, again protected from the winds, the tires hold that heat and emanate a little bit of heat off to just create that microclimate, eliminate that winter brisk edge that you can sometimes get. Switching gears, apologize, it was a phone call. Switching gears to the summer seasons, we have to protect a little bit from overheating. We do have hot, dry summers, and sometimes the bees can be stressed with that. And a stressed bee is an unhappy bee, a diseased bee, and productivity lessens. You'll notice it's in shade right now. Just outside of the camera, we have large crabapple trees planted on the ends of each of these cells. So as the sun moves through the summer sky, the shade is constantly moving from west to east, depending on the position of the sun, to take a little bit of that radiating intense heat coming down on the hive. Additionally, the previous slide or previous video you would have seen the berm to the south. That berm is there because we get predominant south winds just constantly battering us on and off throughout the spring, summer, and fall. And so by setting that berm up, we just minimize the amount of wind coming through. Now you might note, and you're welcome to go back to that previous take, we actually have 2 cuts out of that southern berm that do allow wind to come through. And you can probably look at some of the plantings here. We have a nice breeze coming through, but it's nothing offensive or too aggressive. So by looking at our surroundings, looking at the prevailing winds, looking at the sun angles, what happens in the winter months in a cold temperate climate when we get negative 30 degrees and it's whipping through, how can we create an environment that ensures a heightened level of success for our livestock population? And the bees are no different from that. We don't take a lot of honey from the bees. We want them here as pollinators, as an attractive aesthetic, as a sign of a healthy ecosystem on our permaculture farm. So we do what we can to partner with them to ensure their comfort and long-term survival. So here's another shot. You're now up on the southern berm on the southwest side. The camera is facing to the northeast, so you're getting a very clear picture of the 3 cells and the 3 beehives that we have here at the farm. Again, we do have another hive at a different location, but this was designed specifically for 3 in mind. You can see the crab apples and how they're acting as a shade component for comfort. You can get a feel for the expanse of the northern bank, the northern hugel structure to allow for preventive, heavy, strong, cold winds across the whole of the design. And again, the color of those tires, the black, to radiate the heat during the winter. Let's take one more look at a different part of this design to give you an all-encompassing understanding. So just to the south of the earthwork for the bee haven location, we've accentuated a number of pollinators. Now, we know that bees have a large radius, 5-8 miles in one way for pollination. We understand that, but we're trying to showcase a level of seasonality with regards to pollination opportunities for the bees, so they have a continued supply of sustenance, especially in the later months here in Montana, because we have long 5-6 month winters, and so we really want to build up their stores in the winter for the winter months. And so native big brush sage, Russian sage, culinary sage, lavenders, to name a few, are our focus. Mints, salvias. And so this design honestly has not worked too well. It's out in the open. We've had some predation via elk and deer, but we're taking a new approach over the next coming couple of weeks. We're going to refocus our efforts, clean up the irrigation, do some more plantings to enrich this location so it can be a springboard for discussion with our farmstead guests, with our local community coming in, and understanding the importance of planting pollinators in your own yard. So whether you have hives or not, what can you do to create healthy environments for all living things, but focusing in on the bee here, from early spring pollinators like dandelions or purple chives to late season sages, asters, and the sort. And so it invites conversation, it gets people thinking about their environment and how we can be a proactive approach to a better tomorrow. So I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video here. I want to hear what you're doing with bees, some ideas that maybe we can improve our design, or how we might be able to help you steer your design in the particular climate you're in. So have a great week. Let me know what questions, comments you have. Happy growing. See you next time. Buzz buzz.